Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really cool idea in architecture. What if, instead of living in boxes, our homes were actually designed more like living things? Taking cues from nature's smartest designs.
Okay, let's start with their core belief. It's super simple but powerful. Build with nature, not against it. It's all about shifting our mindset, right? Instead of trying to dominate nature, the idea is to just coexist with it, to build things that actually feel like they belong.
All right, so how do you go from that cool philosophy to a totally new way of living? Here's the plan for today. We're going to start with the why behind it all, then we'll get into the super smart engineering of the dome. After that, we'll look at how they're actually built, check out some real-life projects, and then we'll ask the big question. Is this what the future of our homes looks like?
So first up, this whole philosophy starts by questioning something we take for granted. For centuries, we've been building our houses as these rigid boxes. But look at nature. It's all about curves, spheres, spirals. So Asvikon is basically asking, hey, what are we missing here? What can we learn from that?
And get this, the name Asvikon actually tells you everything you need to know. It stands for Architectural Spheric Vision of Construction. So it's not just about building stuff, it's a whole vision for reconnecting with the natural world by using its own language, its geometry, the sphere.
And this philosophy, it completely turns traditional home design on its head. Think about it. Instead of those corners that just trap energy and kind of fight against the wind and snow, Asvikon's domes have these beautiful flowing shapes. They help air move naturally and spread out any stress evenly. It's all about working with nature's flow, not fighting it.
Okay, but this whole idea isn't just some nice, abstract concept. It's actually backed up by some serious physics. So let's get into the nitty-gritty and see how the simple, elegant shape of a dome translates into some incredible real-world engineering.
All right, first step, wind. A normal, flat wall just stands there and takes a beating from the wind, right? It creates a ton of resistance. But a dome? It's aerodynamic. Its curve lets the air just glide right over it. The result? It's got 30% more resistance to wind loads. It's kind of like the difference between a big, flat billboard and a sleek airplane wing.
Now what about heat? You know how in a regular room, all the hot air gets stuck up at the ceiling and you get those weird hot and cold spots? Well, the curved inside of a dome changes everything. It encourages the air to circulate naturally. That means you get 40% more efficient heat distribution. The whole space just feels more comfortable and stable, without constantly blasting the heat or AC.
So when you put all these efficiencies together, the numbers are pretty staggering. A dome home can slash energy loss by up to 25% compared to a regular house of the same size. That's a huge saving, not just for your bank account, but for the planet too.
So, what's the magic behind all this strength and efficiency? It all boils down to the geodesic design. The whole structure is basically a web of interconnected triangles, and as you might know, the triangle is the strongest, most stable shape in geometry. So when you put pressure on any single point, say from an earthquake or a ton of snow, that stress gets spread out evenly across the entire frame. There are no weak spots. It just makes the whole thing incredibly tough.
Okay, so with a design this advanced, you're probably thinking it must be a nightmare to actually build one, right? Super complicated and takes forever? Well, you'd be wrong. The way they're built is actually a huge part of the innovation, and it's surprisingly straightforward.
The whole building process is just a masterclass in efficiency. All the parts are made with incredible precision in a factory, which cuts down on waste big time. Then, every single piece is coded. So when it all shows up on the building site, it's literally like a giant high-tech Lego set. It all just clicks together, fast and perfect. And the materials they use? They're all chosen very carefully for strength, insulation, and, of course, sustainability. You've got these super strong frames for the structure, insulated panels on the outside to keep it energy efficient, and then on the inside, sustainably sourced wood to give it that natural, warm feeling. The whole system is designed to leave the smallest environmental footprint possible.
And the tech here is woven in so seamlessly. It's not about flashy gadgets. It's more like a silent partner that just makes the home better. You've got integrated solar panels for energy, systems that harvest and filter rainwater, and smart controls for temperature and light that you barely even notice. It's the perfect example of technology serving nature, not trying to control it.
All right, so we've covered the big ideas and the smart engineering behind these dome homes. But what do they actually look like when they're built? What does it feel like to be in one? Let's take a look at a couple of examples of how this dream is becoming a reality. First up, we've got a family compound that totally blurs the line between inside and outside. The living spaces are completely woven into the surrounding land, with sustainable farming and gardens right there. It creates this really holistic way of life.
And the real key here is that it's not just a house sitting on some land. It's a living, breathing, self-sufficient ecosystem. The whole design pushes you towards a lifestyle that's deeply connected to the world around you, where you're generating your own power and growing your own food. It's really a return to a more symbiotic way of living.
Okay, next up, let's check out a hospitality concept that totally rethinks what luxury even means. Instead of over-the-top extravagance, this design is all about what Asvikon calls silent luxury. You know, that feeling of pure comfort and well-being that comes from simplicity and just being connected to the natural world.
This retreat really shows just how flexible the dome concept is. The way it's laid out creates this great sense of community, but you still have your own private space. It's a model for a whole new kind of tourism, one that's respectful to the guests and the environment, and gives you a chance to truly recharge.
So, what does all of this add up to? Is this just some quirky niche thing in architecture, or are we looking at the start of something much, much bigger? A whole new culture of living?
You know, for the creators of Asvikon, this is about way more than just building cool houses. They see it as a cultural statement. It's a conscious pushback against our crazy consumer society and a move towards a more mindful, more sustainable, and, well, more harmonious way of life.
Really, what we're looking at here could be a blueprint for the future. A future where our homes aren't just empty shells that protect us from the rain, but are active, living ecosystems that actually nurture us and the planet.
So, why is this so important? Well, because it forces us to completely rethink our relationship with the places we live. These domes offer a real, tangible path to living more in sync with nature's rhythms, to creating homes that don't just take energy but create it, and to building spaces that aren't just functional but are actually calming and good for our minds.
And that leaves us with one final and maybe the most important question of all. It's a question that goes way beyond architecture, beyond engineering. It gets to the heart of who we are. If the spaces we live in really do shape us, then maybe by changing the shape of our homes, we can start to change the shape of our souls too.